Do have a quorum, so we will now call the January 19th, 2022 meeting of the Industrial Development Board to order. Next item on the agenda is consideration of minutes from our December 15th, 2021 meeting. You received those minutes from the last board meeting that we held last month, and I will give everyone a couple minutes to review those, and then we can take comments, questions for any changes. So I'll give everyone a couple minutes to review those. All right, are there any questions, comments, or changes?
So moved to accept the minutes.
All right. We have a motion on the table.
Yes, ma'am.
She can either table a motion or withdraw it if.
Okay, I just want to.
I will withdraw the motion.
I just want to do that for procedural purposes. I hang around with too many attorneys.
So it's just a couple of housekeeping things. I actually wasn't here last time, so. But under new business, under number 4, second sentence, she says Mr., but doesn't identify the person. So that probably just needs a name inserted in there. And Christina, you're the vice secretary?
Yes.
Okay. And do you go by Alan?
I go by Oakley now.
Okay.
Thank you.
And just needs to say vice secretary. If you're the one to sign it, I assume.
Board Member Forrester, what was the first comment you had under new business?
Under new business, A, number 4, second sentence. It says, Mr. confirmed the information.
Thank you for your patience, but we just want to get this worked out.
Is this where you're looking? Oh, what?
This is the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No, go, that's what I was trying to see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have the minutes?
No, I did not.
I have it right here. We were just gonna try to work it. Yes, I'm close to 221 minutes. It's in the packet, but.
All right, Josh, we have, just for a procedural standpoint, from a legal standpoint, on the minutes, I did see that closely now on the first item that Board Member Forrester brought up. It says Mr., but it does not say a name. How do you recommend the best way to just take that to remove that, take a motion to amend that, to remove that? Because I'm not sure who the Mr. was personally myself.
Yeah, and same here. Mr. Chair, I suggest you just do a motion to amend the minutes to remove that sentence because it doesn't seem to be material to the minutes itself. So I think that would be fine.
All right, that sounds good. So can we do one motion with both changes?
You can, yes.
Okay. And what was your other correction, just to clarify?
Well, they've got Christina under there as secretary. It either needs to have my name as secretary or her name.
Thank you. Christina's vice secretary, so. All right, so I will entertain a motion from the board to delete the sentence that we discussed and under new business from the minutes where it has Mr., to remove that because it's not material, and also to change board member Oakley's title from secretary to vice secretary.
Moved as stated.
All right. Do we have, all right, motion's properly second. Any discussion? All right, motion carried. Thank you for that. Motion carried as adopted. Moving on to the public comment period. Are there any members of the public present wishing to participate in the public comment period? If so, please come to the front, state your name and address. You will have 3 minutes to address the board. All right, as it does not seem that there is anyone wishing to speak during the public comment period, we will move to close that period and move to the next item on the agenda under new business, which is approval of the State of Tennessee grant of $1.25 million for the benefit of Iheart Media and Entertainment, Inc. And again, this is a state grant, so Metro and this board serves as or I should say specifically, this board will serve as the pass-through entity. We have passed several of these state grants here within the past several months. And as is consistent with all of these state grants, there are always 3 documents. There's the grant contract between the state of Tennessee and the Industrial Development Board, grant contract between the Industrial Development Board and Iheart Media, and then there is an accountability agreement between all 3 parties, which in this case is the State of Tennessee, the Industrial Development Board, and Iheart Media. We do have a representative from the state Department of Economic and Community Development present today. So thank you for coming. I'll ask that you feel free to come here to the front, or you can stand if you want. Please introduce yourself and give us some information about this deal, and we may have some questions. So thank you for coming. There you go.
Hello. Okay. I'm Lindy Baronis. I'm the regional director for the Greater Nashville region for TNECD. I've spoken to you guys before. Thank you for your support of this project and hopefully passing this today. This is the most common form of our incentives that go through the IDB as a pass-through agency for an economic development grant that the state provides to a company looking to create jobs in the state. And for this one, obviously, specifically Nashville, Davidson County. Iheart Media headquarters for the entire company in New York City. They decided to put a secondary HQ in Nashville for their digital media group. And so this is a really exciting project that we're very, very excited to work. Iheart is a name brand that people know and recognize. They initially set up a small office off of Music Row to get things up and going, and then signed a lease at 1200 Broadway. I'm sure you probably have seen their marquee at the top of that building by now. It's really exciting. A lot of people pass by that building and they're like, oh, I know Iheart. So just a couple of things about why the company chose Nashville. It was a very competitive process. They wanted to split their HQs, at least on the digital media part, into a secondary city for workforce reasons and workforce challenges. We're seeing that some of these big cities like New York and San Francisco having a really hard time finding and retaining talent these days. And so a place like Nashville, we all know from a cost of living perspective, but also being able to attract young millennial talent at a low cost of living or in comparison to these cities is something that they looked at. One of the big things for them is Iheart is a very creative digital media type of company. Most of what they do, or people know of what they do, is in the radio space and music space. And music, Nashville being Music City was something that was very big for them. That type of talent, that type of person that just loves music, loves Nashville, can go enjoy music at night, but also work for one of the world's largest digital media and radio companies was something that they thought would bring a lot of spark, energy, and vibrancy to the project. And so they were really excited to announce here their initial project is 180 HQ jobs, 2.85 million CapEx, with a very, very high wage. So very excited. 1.25 million is what the state provided, which is at, and in some cases lower than what we've incentivized other HQ projects. So very proud that we were able to provide that incentive, and they accepted and saw Nashville for all of the reasons we hope people choose Nashville, is the long-term business reasons and not just an incentive on the table. So very excited to have them here. And if you guys have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer if I know the answer.
Well, we know you know. That was great information. We certainly appreciate you coming today, and certainly we understand that these are pass-through grants, but obviously we live in Tennessee, so these are certainly our tax dollars at play here, and so we certainly appreciate you coming to speak with us about this. I have a couple of questions, but I'll defer to my board members first. I would ask for this period, ask questions specifically about just the deal in general. If there are any questions about the documents specifically, we'll get into that here shortly. So I'll start here to my right. Any questions about the grant in general? All right. Anybody here to my left? Okay. All right. Well, just a couple quick questions on my end. I just want to make sure. So 180 jobs. And then the 2.85 million, did you mention that
Yes.
in CapEx? Is that investment for the office?
Investment in the office, they did building retrofit in that, as well as all of their furniture, equipment. Their total CapEx is included in that 2.85 because they're going into a Class A high-end office space. There wasn't too much that they needed to retrofit or build out, but just to make the space usable for their needs was most of their retrofit cost.
Awesome. And then just going back, you mentioned that they want to separate and find another city. And obviously, I think that says a lot about the talent that's here in the city. And it speaks to people wanting to move and people wanting to live in Nashville, which is phenomenal. But when they started off, do you know how many jobs they had, like in their small office? And was, like, at that time, were they looking, even though they had a small office here, was Iheart Radio they were looking to grow, but were they looking to relocate again?
I think, so they put up a small satellite office here to test the waters.
Sure.
I think from the beginning, it was something that was on their radar as Nashville being of interest for that secondary digital HQ, but that was not something that they shared publicly and with us that was the goal. And so they kind of tested the waters that way and then brought us and the locals and the economic development team into the conversation when they realized, I think, one of the hurdles we see, not just with this project, is you can tell people all day that Nashville has a great workforce story, and we have incredible talent here being trained by some of the best colleges and universities, and people want to stay here, and the whole story that we know. But some of these companies coming from the large cities still see it as a risk, and they get nervous.
Sure.
And so this satellite office was a way for them to test the waters, put out job postings locally and see what type of interest they get. And all of our conversations with them, it was actually very interesting. They were like, we're getting more responses to these job postings than we do in New York City. And so that was very telling from the company's perspective to us, that they were able to at least source interest in the postings and the jobs that they had.
Well, that says a lot. And did you give any salary information?
I have the hour, so we track it in our system by hourly. So
Okay.
it is $51.82 per hour is the average wage. And if I had my calculator, I could do that for you really quick, but yeah, it's over 100. I know is their average
Yeah.
wage for those jobs is over 100. So very significant for.
Something that says about Nashville is has had the highest increase of 100K jobs, correct?
Yes, by far.
And then lastly, so the target is 180. How many jobs, how many employees or jobs do they have now?
They have a good number by now. I would have to check back in. I would say in the fall, they were getting close to 50 already. The reason why they ended up having to sign a lease at 1200 Broadway faster than what they had planned is their satellite office filled up and they didn't have any space left. So
Good problem to have.
fast-tracked that timeline a little bit.
And this is, and then specific on the deal, this is a one-time.
There is conversation that they could grow that beyond the 180, but they would have to come back to us, submit a new plan and an application, and we would go through the same process as before.
And is this earmarked specifically to cover to reimburse them for their cost of their CapEx improvements to the office?
Yes, sir. So our ED grants are all reimbursable grants to reimburse a company for after-the-fact expenses they've paid for construction retrofit cost. A portion of this is also being made up by lease cost as well.
You say for their lease?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a mixture of fixture improvements, retrofit improvements, and initial lease cost.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, Lindy, thank you as always
Thank you, guys.
For coming to talk with us about this. And for me personally, I don't know about other people. I certainly listen to Iheart Radio, and
Yes.
when I heard that, when I saw that, I was super excited. And again, I think it speaks to we certainly have some industries that we're very well known for, but obviously over the last several years, we're seeing that change in diversity in industries that we're attracting. So.
Well, thank you guys for your support. You guys are a big partner of ours, and we couldn't provide these grants without you guys. And you guys are also what's making Nashville a vibrant city that our companies want to be a part of. So we're the state, you're the community. So thank you guys for what you do.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for sharing all that with us. Josh, if you will, just high level, break down the documents for us and let me know if let the board know if you've reviewed them, and from a legal perspective, if everything is in order from your legal perspective.
Absolutely. So there are three documents that was.
You want to hit your button?
Can you not hear me?
I can, just to make sure, because it's being recorded.
Yes, so yeah. So there are three documents. As was mentioned, there's the document that's between the state and the IDB. Again, we are the pass-through entity. So essentially that just gives our obligations and responsibilities with respect to how we are to basically sub-grant that money. The second agreement is the grant agreement between the IDB and with Iheart Media directly. So again, as a pass-through entity, we essentially pass along those obligations to Iheart Media to make sure they are meeting their requirements to qualify for the grant. And then the last document is the accountability agreement. And again, that involves both the state, Iheart Media, and the IDB. And as the name just applies, it just makes sure that Iheart Media and the IDB are both meeting their obligations to make sure the grant requirements are being met with respect to the number of jobs and the money is being used correctly for the retrofit and related matters. So I have reviewed all three documents, and everything looks to be in order. So I do believe the board is in a position to approve those if they so choose.
Thank you for that. I will start here to my left. Any specific questions on the documents? Again, these are every time we do one of these grants that comes before us, there's always three documents. So pretty much the same. just changing of the entity, the company that's involved. But any questions for Josh related to the documents to my left? All right, I'll go here to my right. All right, thank you. With that, I will entertain a motion to approve the Fast Track grant for Iheart Media Entertainment Incorporated.
I'll make the motion.
All right, we have a motion by
We did? Oh, okay.
Vice Chair Segal. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, motion is properly seconded by Board Member Wright. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. All those opposed indicate by saying nay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the three agreements are approved. Thank you. The next item, if you take a look at the agenda, thank you again, Lindy. The next item on the agenda was related to the Phillips Holding, an amendment to an economic incentive grant between Metro Government of Nashville and Davidson County and the Industrial Development Board. Based on some clarification that we need to obtain, the recommendation is that we move this, take this off the agenda, and move this to a meeting in the future, as there are some items that need to be worked out. Do I need to take a motion on that, Josh, or are we good to?
I think you're fine just to
Okay.
address that.
All right, so we will move on. I thank you for everyone for your flexibility and patience on that. All right, next, and I think we have some visitors here. One of the items that we discussed that's been big for us over the last several years, and certainly it's something that's needed, is affordable housing and also diversity. If you all recall, in December, I talked about the Amazon program that they've partnered with the Urban League to certainly increase the number of minority developers, but certainly also do that with the focus on affordable housing. And certainly on this board, we've been strong proponents of affordable housing projects. So anyway, super excited about that. I think you all could tell at the last meeting I was super excited about it. And I shared with you that I actually had a friend who applied to the program. And so with that, I wanted to invite, we have some guests here. So if you'll come on up, Oran, and introduce yourself. Wanted to invite Oran here, and I'll let Oran introduce himself. And come to find out, he knows the real boss in my life pretty well, so I have to be on my best behavior today. But certainly want to give an update about this. Wanted to invite Oran to give an update on this program, and certainly give you all an opportunity to ask any questions. So really excited for this. So Oran, if you'll introduce yourself and tell us a little about the program and what is the update? I think the deadline was Monday, but any updates as well, and certainly if this board has any questions, that would be great. Again, it's not something that we need to vote on, but just wanted you all to know about it. So thank you.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Good morning. My name is Oran Thompson. I am the executive director of Red Academy, which is an Urban League of Middle Tennessee program. The program Red Academy is a program that is dedicated to increase the amount of developers of color within Nashville, Davidson County, supported by Amazon. So this process has started probably over a year ago in trying to get to the point where we can launch. And I will say it's been a successful launch. We started in December 8th was the announcement, and the applications open. They closed on Monday, MLK Day, and we've had over 50 applicants, ranging in years of experience.
Can you stop right there? Did you say over 50?
Over 50, yes.
Wow.
So the need is out there, right, of trying to create a pipeline to increase the amount of developers of color. The program is an 18-month program. We'll cover 4 key topics, from business to law and policy to finance and construction. We are pulling in experts, not only locally, but also regionally and even nationally if needed, to discuss these and to build up these developers. It is a commitment. We want people who are committed to Davidson County, but more specifically to affordable housing. The intent is to get these developers in line and be able to reach out to the larger HEF fund that Amazon has. And, we're really excited. We appreciate all the help that has been provided thus far. And we're ready to get started and get going and really get these developers engaged and involved. We understand the need of affordable housing in Nashville, Davidson County, but we also understand the need to make the amount of work and projects that are being done to look like the city in which we live in, which is a multi-diverse city. And so we can't have cranes popping up all over the city and none of us are actually being involved in it. So that's my elevator speech.
Well, again, thank you for coming, and certainly I was, and not everyone was on we have board members changed over time, but I was on the board when the Amazon deal came before this board, and I was a supporter of that, and so, for me, I think it's also great to see when we pass these incentives, and obviously I voted for it because I believed in it and the economic growth of jobs and quality jobs, but also it's great to see when we have companies that come here that become an integral part of the community and, put their money where their mouth is, for lack of a better term, as far as showing the support and the resources to really, improve life for everyone and certainly help tackle affordable housing, which is a multifaceted issue that takes everyone's efforts. So appreciate you coming. I will start here. Any questions about the program or for Ron? We'll go with Board Member Oakley.
Thank you very much. And
Absolutely.
someone involved with Habitat for Humanity, I'm chairing it this year, understanding the importance, and someone who works a lot with Hispanic businesses as well as our global community, if I can assist on the side to help you get minorities from all walks. I work a lot with them in the past and let them know this opportunity is available. So,
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, it sounds like a great program. I was trying to look at the website real quick. How specifically does it tie into affordable housing? I heard you say that, but is it, so you're training, you're building up new developers and developers of color. Is it specifically for affordable housing, or is just some may do affordable housing, some may be more just regular housing, market rate?
Our focus, we are reaching out. So the program is not for newbies. It's not for people who are just, woke up yesterday and said, hey, I'm excited. I want to do something, in real estate. We are looking for experienced people who know and understand real estate. We're treating it kind of like a master's course. So we want people who are going to get it at a higher level because we want to be able to actually move the needle and do the work that we said we're going to do. The program highlights affordable housing and is going to focus on affordable housing in the sense that we are trying to gear all of the curriculum to take advantage of all of the knowledge around affordable housing. So, and then, of course, Amazon's larger housing equity fund is focused on affordable housing. So our intent is for the enrollees and participants who go through the program to be able to then have access to that larger HEF fund that's out there.
Gotcha. That's great. And I know those deals are complicated. Like I know some of the companies out there, like Urban Housing and like Holiday, there's some developers that are focusing on it. It sounds like what I was kind of picturing where, yeah, like you said, it's more advanced courses. I know you have to figure out like those pipelines to THDA money and MDHA money and just any opportunities. I'm sure you're partnering with them, but yeah, I know those are complex development type of strategies. So thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Yeah, great questions from both of you board members. And to Ron's point, this program is for people that have already developed. And like I said, a friend of mine that applied, and I'll look through the application myself, and it's pretty in-depth as far as, some very detailed questions. And you're asked to provide experience on projects that you have done in the past. So really neat. So thank you for those questions. Anything here to my right? Board member Wright, sure.
Of course, awesome program, definitely behind it. That's what we do, affordable housing, our organization. I guess I had a couple questions. You say you received 50 applications, which is quite a bit. Do you think you guys will be able to handle all 50? And if you receive more than that, will you be able to take it on with the grant you received from Amazon?
So we're in a review process right now in vetting all those applications, and so that'll be, it'll take some time. Ideally, we want our class structure to be no less than 15 enrollees, probably no more than 20. But, as we go through and we get, talented people, then, we'll have to adjust and look at the program as it sits. But ideally, anywhere between 15 to 20 is our target. But, again, we'll assess it if we have that much need out there and if there's enough talented individuals who are doing the work that we're looking for.
Okay. And of course, we'd love to, extend our assistance, because we've been doing development for over 10 years. We're at Trudeau, Community Housing Development Organization, so we've been in the mix for a while. And I would love to look at the curriculum, because one of the issues I believe a lot of smaller organizations are not familiar with LIHTC projects, low-income housing tax credits. And that's, when you start to get into some size of projects, you're going to have to start considering looking at leveraging your projects and your capital stack according to how that's done. Is the program sort of geared, you mentioned advanced or master's program. So when I think of masters, I would think of an organization that's starting to get into the low-income housing tax credit arena. Is that something?
Yes, we'll cover that as part of the curriculum also.
Okay, great. Sounds wonderful. Just, hey, call on me if you need me.
Awesome.
I'm here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will add real fast if you.
Yeah, go ahead.
That, the website, the application process, of course, is taken down out of the website, but the website is still up. So those who want to go, if you go to ulmt.org/programs, and under the pull down, there'll be a tab that says Red Academy. And then there you can find out more information about the program.
And for the board members, if you have this in your email, this was sent out back in December after we talked about this at our December meeting, and I asked Courtney to send out the links. So if you refer to your emails, you'll have the link to this already. Okay. So thank you. Board Member Forrester?
Yeah, I don't have any questions, just a comment. I just find this whole thing really exciting, and I'm really thankful that, this is something that I can really get my teeth into coming down from Amazon. It just makes total sense. And thank you for heading it up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Forrester. Vice Chair Segal?
In my experience, and I practice law and mostly commercial real estate, the biggest hurdle that I see across the board for people with a lot of hands-on experience trying to branch out and become developers on their own is capital, access to capital, and the network that it takes to get there. And on a near daily basis, we in our office field calls. Who do I call? What banker do I call? Who gives loans to new people? Who do I work with? How much of what y'all are doing is learning about that, which is important, and a lot of folks new to the space on their own don't know? And how much is actually like networking and putting people in front of our local banks who are in this space right now, who have the products available to help get the capital to the new developers who might not be able to go to one of our bigger banks who isn't going to be able to work with that new person?
So yeah, thank you for that question. So we're focused on training, mentorship, and the finance piece. So part of that on the training, of course, is the curriculum, and we'll focus on that as far as the training goes. Mentors. So we're in the process of, we've had a couple of well-known developers here and locally who have agreed to come on as mentors. And then we're also looking for additional mentors too. So if there's any recommendations that the board can provide, we love to have that. And then also on the financing piece, we're also reaching out to the local banks. So we want them a part of it, because as we roll out these qualified developers, they'll need to be able to pinpoint banks and organizations that align with what we're trying to do. So not only will we have, Amazon support, but after this, we want to be able for them to grow and, understand that Amazon has a business model too that they have to focus on. So they can't be the only game in town.
That's great. And I think I, as well as probably several people on this board and plenty of people in town, have a good feel for what local banks are creative when it comes to new businesses, and businesses that maybe can't just hand over a personal net worth sheet that, you know, could fully back the project and make it really easy to underwrite. There are certainly banks doing that in this space here. And I hope you are finding them, and if you're not, please let us know.
Absolutely.
I also would just like to comment, I think there was a lot of concern in the community and on this board when we did the Amazon deal, as somebody who was there, that Amazon had a reputation for not always being involved in the community, and I've been really impressed with what they have done, even through the pandemic, without as many boots on the ground, to really kind of get in and try to do programs with this. So thanks for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your comments and questions, Vice Chair Segal. So Ron, couple questions. So you mentioned the need for mentors that just came up. What areas specifically, you know, are you all needing mentors at this time right now?
We're looking for anybody who's in the real estate field that can provide, you know, some sort of leverage to the program. So anybody who would be a recognized name that would be willing to, who believes in the program too. Just as much as we want the participants to believe in the program and, you know, increasing the amount of affordable homes, but also really making the real estate market and commercial real estate look diverse as what it is, then we want those mentors to be the same way. We want them to feel the same passion that we're going to bring to the table. So we don't want somebody who's, and it's not a knock on anybody because I understand people are busy and they have a lot of time, but we don't want anybody who's just providing lip service and just to put their name on it. We really want people who care and want to participate and want to be a part of the program for the right reasons.
So you say real estate and then bankers?
Yes, anybody in the real estate market.
Okay.
Yeah. So not any focus or whatever, you know, whether it's somebody who's a developer already, which would be awesome, or somebody who's in a financial institution who deals with real estate development on a regular basis would be awesome too.
All right, well, thank you for that. And then just to be clear, I know you said you had over 50 applicants, which is, awesome. I mean, that sounds great. That's amazing. How did you market this to people to get the word out?
So outside of the website, Urban League of Middle Tennessee has also had info sessions, and I think there's a link to a couple of them on our website. So when you go to the program, you'll see the info sessions. Those were blasted out to constituents. And then also, we've had a couple of other just cold calls and talks to different individuals and organizations that, you know, just trying to get the word out there. We've also partnered with ULI, and
Sure.
They also sent a blast out on our behalf to put the word out.
Urban Land Institute, awesome. And certainly the program for you're in the review process. When you anticipate the program starting, and then the program will be free, correct, for those that are chosen to move forward?
Absolutely. So the program will be free for the applications, for the applicants who get chosen. And then we're looking at a late February, early March start, and 18 months. So that puts us at August of 2023, or somewhere about August, September of 2023.
And certainly just from a timing standpoint, is this something where there will be classes, you know, 3 to 4 hours a week? What does that look like typically over the 18-month period?
We're still vetting and putting all that together, but yeah, it'll probably be, classes will probably meet once every 2 weeks, or twice a week, every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Over that course of 18 months. And we are looking at using this as a capstone project. So at the end of the program, we want the participants to be able to have a shovel-ready project. Because again, you know, to be able to really move that needle, we got to have projects ready to go at the end of the program.
Yeah, that's really neat. And certainly, last thing on my end, certainly great demand and interest in the program. Are there any plans, because obviously if you're targeting 15 to 20, there'll be a lot of applicants that, you know, that won't be able to do the program. And certainly if you did this 2 years from now, you'd probably have even more applicants. Are there any plans to do this again with the fresh group here once you end after this 18-month period?
My focus right now is getting this one going.
I hear you.
I'll address that as we go forward, but what we are hoping to tell the people who don't make it in this time is not yet. Not no, not you can't, just not yet. So we want to be able to, and then if there's any additional assistance that, Urban League of Middle Tennessee can provide to those applicants who didn't make it in this time to help them be able to be ready for the next class, then that's what we want to try to do. But for right now, I got to focus on getting the program up and going. So that's my focus right now.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you for coming again.
Absolutely.
And just to make sure everybody's clear, this is your full-time
Absolutely.
responsibility. This is, your focus is, you work for the Urban League, but your focus is this and only this with the program. So is that right?
Correct. That's it.
Okay. Well, that says a lot about the resources, behind this program to help it be successful.
Absolutely.
So, any other questions for Orion?
Yeah. I didn't want to not allow Ms. Brown to come up and speak.
Oh, yes, come on up.
Yeah.
You're no stranger. You've been before us before. Good morning.
Good morning,
If-
Michelle Brown.
Picture.
Good morning, Michelle Brown with Amazon. I was just being Iran's backup singer, so to speak, but we are really excited about this program and this partnership. We have been, as you all know, been super involved in the community trying to increase affordable housing, reaching out to everyone to figure out how to increase it. And we just continuously heard developers of color just need access, need resources, need a little bit of extra help to do what they've already been doing. And partnering with the Urban League has been a great relationship, and we're so excited to launch this program. We're excited for Ron's leadership, Clifton's leadership, and we just think that this is something that will be great and hope to continue to replicate it for years to come. So thank you so much for allowing us to present on this.
Yeah, thank you. And while you're here, do you want to talk brief? We spoke about this at our December meeting as well, but about that general housing fund donation. If you want to speak to that while you're here as well, that would be great.
Yes, so at the end of 2020, after the property tax increase occurred, we realized that there were a lot of people who might have the unfortunate chance of losing their homes due to the increased property taxes. So we donated $2.5 million to the housing fund under Marshall Crawford's leadership to help offset those property taxes. And the way the program was set up, it was only set up for the 7 or 8 zip codes that were greatly impacted by the tornadoes in early 2020. This year, we were looking at it again, and we realized that a lot of people were still impacted by property taxes, but we really wanted to make sure that a lot of the landlords would be able to receive relief for property taxes so they wouldn't pass that cost on to their tenants. So we made an additional donation in December to help those landlords, and so we're really excited about that. It's the Housing Resiliency Fund. It's managed by the Housing Fund, and if you know anyone in the zip codes that are listed on the website, we encourage them to apply and just receive that grant funding as an opportunity to keep the costs low and keep housing affordable here.
No, thank you for sharing that, and I think that's something that we always talk about. Like the need for more affordable housing and more units, which is certainly true, but it doesn't help us if we build 10 new ones, but we lose 10 that we have. And
Exactly.
I think that's certainly something that is kind of missed because costs get passed on to tenants.
Exactly.
And typically, in many cases, those tenants are not in a position, if you have a mortgage, your mortgage is pretty fixed. It's a fixed rate, except your property taxes, but your payment is is fixed. Whereas if you're a tenant, and the landlord has to raise, that can really put a dent in make it challenging for you. So I think that's certainly really neat to look at it from that perspective and attack that. So thank you. Do you want to share anything else? I know you've been here with it before us, but is there anything else? We're delighted to have you. Anything else you want to share with us?
Got in the hot seat real fast. No, we are just really excited about the launch of this program. We've gotten a lot of community support. We have an advisory council that Iran has put together. I'll let him share that, but it's just a lot of great input. Definitely looking for mentors. If you know anyone, please reach out to Iran. or myself, and I'll pass that to him. But just really excited to launch this program and see what that first cohort looks like. I think it's going to be a lot of great members of the community, a lot of great leaders who are just going to be able to help increase that affordable housing supply we need.
You want to tell us about the advisory?
Yeah,
Please.
so the advisory council consists of, I believe it's 9 at our last count. It consists of Clifton Powell, who of course is executive director and CEO of Urban League of Middle Tennessee, Tanika Vircher, Councilwoman, yes.
Council member. Okay.
Councilmember Vircher, yes. Tarek Hart-Love, he's a builder, local builder here. Joseph Cole, who's a local architect here. Michael Carter, owner of Pinnacle Construction. Davita Taylor at the airport, B&A. Roxanne Bethune, who's also a member of the community. Sorry, I'm going off the top of my head.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I think I'm missing one more person.
And this is specifically for the Red, the
Correct.
program?
This is specifically for the Red Academy.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So, we have some people who are very committed to the program as well as committed to Nashville. And so we know that, them being a part of the program is going to add, extreme benefits to the participants going through as well as the program validity.
Well, that's outstanding, and recognize some of those names. So, anyway, this is very extreme. This is very extremely exciting. So glad that you both were able to come. Are there any other questions for our guests? Anything here? All right.
Can I add one last thing? I think
Absolutely.
As the board starts to really dive a little bit deeper, read the website, send me an email, ask me any questions. Hopefully that was in their packet too, that they have my email address. If not, if you want to write it down, it's athompson@ulmt.org. athompson@ulmt.org. So if you got any additional questions and/or those recommendations, like Michelle said, then just send it, email it my way, and I would appreciate it. But also as the board meets and then you just start to identify the bigger need of Nashville, because we're so focused on Nashville and doing the work here in Nashville. If there's anything that I can come back and present to the board and/or provide, don't hesitate to call me back.
Now, we certainly, once you've chosen application, the applicants to move through the program, we certainly would love to have you back, and certainly keep us updated throughout the process. And like I said, I was just super fascinated, which, like I said, we talked about it in December as well. And when I found out we had a mutual friend and, like I said, the real boss in my life, I was like, man, I gotta ask Orion if he'll come speak to us too. So thank you, and thank you as well, Michelle. And hopefully we'll be in touch, and maybe at some point we may be able to have one of our board meetings potentially at your new office. So anyway, well, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you both again soon. So good luck with the program. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for your time today. All right, with that, we'll move to the chairman's report. And again, I thank everyone for their time and questions today. Just a couple quick items just to review. One item pertains, in December, we gave an update regarding the need to find bond issuers council to replace, well, I don't know if anyone can replace the legendary Bob, but to fill in. And as a reminder, Bob is looking to retire, but he has agreed to stay on until we find a high caliber person to take over in this role. So won't spend a lot of time today, but certainly, as I shared in the December meeting, would keep this board updated. So as we shared, we put together a committee, myself, Courtney, Joshua, and also Michelle Bosch with Metro, And we've met and we've been working to put together some of the criteria. We plan to get that RFQ out here this week. And then from there, we'll certainly provide updates at the February meeting. And certainly this process will somewhat depend on how many applicants we get. But I would say tentatively right now, we plan to have a special meeting in March. That committee that I just shared with you will put together 3 of the 4 top candidates. And then we will have a meeting. Again, it will likely be a special meeting in March. And again, that may subject to change, but that's kind of tentatively what we're looking at, so that we'll let each candidate talk with this board. And obviously, we'll do that individually with each candidate. And then that will give an opportunity for the board to ask questions of those candidates. So anyway, that's kind of high level, the process. And again, I will certainly be able to provide more updates in February. So I want to thank Courtney and Josh and certainly Michelle in working to do that. It was not something we planned. And certainly with Margaret Darby changing positions as well, it's been somewhat challenging, but we're working through those challenges. And so I'm grateful to the team for working through that. And like I said, we'll provide an update here at in February, but just tentatively just be thinking that we'll likely have a special meeting in March to interview candidates for the position. Any questions or comments on that? All right, outstanding. Next item, I won't spend too long on this. I'll ask Courtney to send this link out in case you want to review it, but had the opportunity last week. A company called Capital Analytics put on a virtual conference last week, and it was really neat. And I think there were over 500 people. You couldn't tell how many people were on there, but just a couple of things that stood out to me. And again, we can send this link out in case you want to watch it, because the link is on YouTube. I want to say it was maybe an hour and a half or so. But what was really neat, and first of all, I want to, our very own Courtney Pogue opened up the conference with a really impressive speech. And Courtney, as I shared with you yesterday, I was really impressed with some of what you said in highlighting the talent here in Nashville. And certainly highlighting the big companies like the Amazon deal, the Oracle, the $1 billion Oracle deal that this board approved earlier this year, but also talking about our HBCUs and the talent and developing a strategic plan that's prosperous for all of Nashvillians. So like I said, I was very impressed with that. So, and you've shared that with this board as well. You want to comment on that? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for
Sure.
your comments. Yes, there was Capital Analytics. I did the opening kickoff speech or keynote speech, and really talked about Nashville and our strengths here and the story of Music City and our assets being the HBCUs, but also our growing economy, especially along the East Bank. As you know, the mayor is very focused on the East Bank. We have an Oracle transaction, which this body approved. And then we have a few other transactions down the road that will be coming his way. So it's very exciting times in Nashville. We've been through some trials and tribulations in the past 2 years with a tornado, Second Avenue bombing, and of course the pandemic. But we're persevering, we're pushing through, and really just told our story. So it was a good time to really highlight Nashville and highlight the work that we're all doing here, from housing to workforce to small businesses, and looking for some great things in the future. And as I stated within the keynote speech, is that we're going to create our first plan for economic development here. That was approved by the COVID committee last week. So the money's been set aside for that. And this week we're going in for a small business recovery fund, about $20 million for all of Nashville, with a focus on some of our distressed areas of Nashville, but really to help some of those businesses, small businesses, that have revenues less than $1 million and have less than 50 employees to really prosper here in Nashville. So this is one of the ways we're kind of addressing small business here. So hopefully, cross your fingers, the COVID committee approves that today at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, keep us posted, and thank you for the updates on that. And what's really neat about the conference, Courtney did a great job of setting it up and getting everyone excited, but there were then breakout sessions, healthcare, banking, and real estate and development. And I won't go into tons of details, but what's really interesting is in every single one of those breakout sessions, affordable housing came up in every single one. And it's clear that, you know, at least we've got a lot of work to do, but that topic is getting the attention it deserves and needed. So really exciting. So we'll send the link out. And like I said, it was really phenomenal. I've got tons of notes here, but I won't go into those. But if you want to take a look at it, like I said, it is on YouTube.
I got a question. Do you mind?
Sure.
Courtney, in 2016, this department had a statistics that 27% of small business owners in Davidson County were foreign-born. With the growth, do you have access to that information of who our small business owners are, and like just data on that?
Sure, we could grab some data from our planning department right across the street, so.
I mean, that's just something to look at. I think numbers really show people what's happening to the city, and I believe data helps the mind shift as well in acceptance and understanding where our growth is coming from the economic of small businesses, and the zip codes they're coming from. So just wondered if maybe I can get some information or if that's available.
Yeah, we have that data, so we understand. It has, and you know, one of the fastest segments of entrepreneurship here, or small businesses here in Nashville, is our foreign-born citizens, but also women-owned businesses. We have some track record that we need to improve, but we are improving. So that's one of the fastest growing segments here in Nashville. And they look at, of course, our African-American population here in Nashville, 37208 and 37218. There's also a fast pace of growing businesses there. So a lot of entrepreneurship here in Nashville. So that's why we're kind of kicking off this small business recovery fund, because we know there's a need all throughout Nashville. So we look at Southeast Nashville, but also North Nashville, but also core of Nashville. There's a need to support our small businesses, especially those businesses that have revenues to less than $1 million and have less than 50 employees. That is really our bread and butter. It's about 27,000 businesses here in the city that kind of fit into that category.
Can you repeat the numbers on that? I know you said it's about 27%. What's the?
About 27,000 businesses.
Okay.
That have less than $1 million of revenue and less than 50 employees.
And also, as a part of history, I know in the past when we had the small tax incentives through the mayor's office, and they launched it, the dependency on our council members to get the word out to their community businesses, you know, was taken advantage by some and not by others. And so we saw that those small businesses, owners taking advantage of some tax incentives or tax breaks, and I use the word carefully, we're not the minorities. And so we have to educate the council members about this opportunity to make sure that their constituents are invited or know about this opportunity. But in the past, I just remember it was a hit or miss shot with council members really taking it out to the community. So ensuring that this opportunity of this fund is for all is something that we have to look at it as well.
So let me clarify that. $20 million, $2 million is basically marketing outreach geared for what you just outlined. So therefore, there'll be information in both English and Spanish. There'll be connections with the minority agencies within the various communities to make sure we're getting the word out, engage with all 35 of our council members, 5 at large, but also doing informational sessions online, in person, but also having recorded information sessions in English and in Spanish. So there's been money set aside to make sure that we have a very robust marketing outreach. I think look at the historical data from other programs, the CARES Act program from last year, but also historical programs for small businesses. There hasn't been a good outreach effort. So one of the things I kind of structured to make sure we put in place in hearing your concerns constantly, I made sure we structured something that was robust. We made sure we got the word out in a very diverse fashion.
And you were saying that today, did you say 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock, COVID-19 committee. So that's where they oversee the COVID-19 dollars, the ARPA dollars, and the CARES dollars. And so we're we're asking roughly about $20 million for this small business recovery program. Last week, they approved the $1.1 million for our economic development plan, along with our market value analysis to help us kind of shape out our housing policy, but also our policy for economic development.
Outstanding. Thank you for the update.
We have some big things coming, so
Yeah, it's exciting.
we're pushing ahead.
Hope it goes well, and certainly we'd like to hear more at our next meeting. So thank you. All right. Are there any other questions or comments? All right. Well, Josh, I don't need to make a motion, do I? Or do I need to make a motion to adjourn?
Technically, on the Robert Rules of Order, yes.
All right. Well, that's fine. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. All right. So
And no one
motion.
has to vote. If they just second the motion, then you can,
Okay. Say we're adjourned?
Yep.
All right. So
Second.
Vice Chair Segal made a motion. Board Member Oakley seconded. So we are adjourned.
We're good.
Thank you, everyone.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.